it is funny. She is so wrapped up in identity, and she had no idea who she was.
Well, now we understand why she always makes Whoopi get the coffee.
Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them?
Gutfeld explained that reducing complex issues to identity-based narratives can sometimes lead activists like Sunny to overlook important context, including their own contradictions. The real irony, he pointed out, wasn't just that Sunny's ancestors were involved in a system she passionately opposes, but that she avoided taking the moment to reflect on it. Instead, she quickly brushed past it, downplaying its significance. His commentary struck a chord with many who saw this as a prime example of what happens when moral superiority runs up against uncomfortable truths. To Gutfeld, this wasn't just about Sunny. It was a bigger lesson on how personal accountability often takes a back seat to performative outrage. After Sunny's shocking family history came to light, the internet wasted no time reacting. Social media exploded with memes and jokes, including one particularly viral caption, "Reparations? Let me write that check to myself real quick." Platforms like Twitter and TikTok were flooded with a mix of sharp humor and strong opinions, making the moment impossible to ignore.
You know, in her defense, everyone has ancestors that did unspeakably horrible things. It's just that not everyone's ancestors have records tied to their DNA about it. Worried for Sunny Hostin's progeny in the future that do a DNA test and find out that they were related to a cast member of The View. And they're like, oh, it all makes so much sense now why I'm so stupid and fat.
Some people defended Sunny, saying she shouldn't be blamed for what her ancestors did, but many others couldn't ignore the obvious contradiction. Sunny, who has built her platform on holding others accountable for their history, seemed to brush off her own with nothing more than a casual shrug, calling it just a fact of life. This sparked a heated debate. Should public figures like Sunny be held to the same moral standards they demand from others? Critics argued that her response lacked the reflection and growth expected from someone so outspoken about accountability. The irony of the situation made sure the backlash didn't fade quickly, keeping the conversation going for weeks. The fallout from Sunny's revelation didn't just stir up controversy, it also made things awkward on The View. When the bombshell dropped about her ancestors being slave owners, the usual lively energy at the table disappeared into an uncomfortable silence. Even Whoopi Goldberg, known for her quick comebacks, hesitated, seemingly unsure how to handle such an ironic twist. Meanwhile, over on Greg Gutfeld's panel, the reaction was the complete opposite. His co-hosts didn't hold back, throwing in sharp but playful jabs. One even joked that Sunny might have to start shaming herself for her family's past. The panel's laughter drove home their criticism of what they saw as her double standards, further exposing the cracks in her moral high ground. Rosie O'Donnell also weighed in, offering a more thoughtful perspective on the situation.
Guess there's nothing worse than to find out you're a white woman.
She's so disappointed.
It's really disappointing.
Her mother was white.
Oh my
The
God.
shame.
Oh my God.
The horror. History, and finds out that this is fantastic. She is descended from slaveholders. She's descended from slaveholders, and she's been apparently getting a lot of mail about her call for reparations because it turns out she's going to be paying them and not actually receiving them.
Rosie O'Donnell emphasized that people should be judged by their actions, not their ancestry, while also pointing out how identity politics can sometimes oversimplify complex issues like race and history. Her perspective highlighted how discoveries like these can challenge rigid narratives and force uncomfortable self-reflection. The reactions from both Sunny's supporters and critics revealed a clear divide. Some saw this as an opportunity to discuss personal accountability, while others viewed it as yet another example of identity politics backfiring in a big way. No matter where people stood, the tension surrounding Sunny's response was impossible to ignore. Her reaction to her family's shocking past felt like a missed opportunity. Instead of using the moment to reflect or start a meaningful conversation about the complexities of ancestry and accountability, she brushed it off as just a fact of life. For someone who has built a career on holding others to high moral standards, this casual dismissal left many feeling unsatisfied. This could have been a moment of growth. Sunny had the chance to acknowledge the irony, share her personal struggle with reconciling her family's past, and use the revelation to deepen discussions about historical injustices. It could have served as a powerful reminder that no one's history is simple or without contradictions, but instead, the focus shifted to her perceived hypocrisy and unwillingness to confront her own past, turning what could have been a meaningful dialogue into yet another debate over accountability. Sunny's story is a clear example that no one's history is without complexity, and that moral certainty can quickly unravel when inconvenient truths come to light. Her situation raises an important question. If you demand accountability from others, shouldn't you be willing to hold yourself to the same standard? With the internet's reaction, viral memes, and Greg Gutfeld's sharp commentary, this moment isn't fading anytime soon. Whether Sunny chooses to address it head-on or ignore it completely will shape how people remember her. Step into Hollywood, where the drama spills off the screen and into the real world. The glossy image of the entertainment industry is starting to crack, revealing a whole new layer of chaos. Once the epicenter of creativity and endless entertainment, it now feels stuck in a constant whirlwind of trouble. With studios collapsing, streaming platforms hemorrhaging money, and creators caught in the middle, things have never been more turbulent. But no story stands out quite like the explosive showdown between Robert De Niro and Warner Brothers. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Bill Maher enters the fray, publicly calling out De Niro and stoking the flames of their already heated feud.
So why is Trump winning? I mean, the New York Times poll this week came out, and maybe this will change it with the State of the Union address, but Trump was beating him rather soundly. It was quite a warning light, 48 to 43, also winning way more among women than he had before, winning outright Latinos. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I just don't want to feel the way I did, and many of us don't, after the election in 2016, where we couldn't believe that it happened. The guy is a total monster. And anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they get behind that kind of logic. They want to fuck with people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person. I never play him as an actor because I can't see any good in him. Nothing.
For those just tuning in, Robert De Niro, the iconic actor behind unforgettable roles in classics like The Godfather Part 2, Raging Bull, and Goodfellas, has recently been dropped from 2 major Warner Brothers projects. These films were set to showcase De Niro in his legendary mob boss role, something he's mastered over decades. Together, the projects were worth a staggering $40 million. But instead of bringing those characters to life, De Niro is now locked in a legal battle, accusing Warner Brothers of firing him unfairly due to his political views. At first, this looked like a typical Hollywood situation. Warner Brothers had cast De Niro for 2 roles tailor-made for his intense, commanding screen presence. With both films expected to draw large audiences, the studio was counting on De Niro's star power to deliver. His $40 million payday was a testament to his status as one of Hollywood's top-paid actors. But as with many Hollywood dramas, things took an unexpected turn. Out of nowhere, Warner Brothers announced they were cutting ties with De Niro, scrapping him from both films. For an actor of his caliber, this was a major shakeup. Naturally, rumors began to fly. Was it a contract dispute? Creative differences? The truth was far messier. De Niro quickly fired back, claiming he was axed for political reasons, accusing Warner Brothers of bowing to pressure from public figures and groups who opposed his outspoken views. De Niro has always been known for speaking his mind, and his bold political and social opinions have sparked both praise and controversy. Now, he's arguing that his willingness to voice his thoughts has cost him big roles. But Warner Brothers has a much different and far more contentious take on the situation. Insiders from the studio argue that De Niro's firing wasn't wasn't about his political stance, but how he expressed it. Sources say his controversial comments angered a large portion of the public, forcing Warner Brothers to make the tough decision to part ways with the actor to protect their brand. Robert De Niro is notorious for never holding back, and his bold views on political and social issues have sparked both admiration and controversy throughout his career. Now, he's claiming that speaking his mind has cost him major roles, but Warner Brothers is offering an even juicier explanation. Studio insiders say the decision to part ways with De Niro wasn't about his politics, but rather the way he voiced them. Allegedly, the actor made a series of inflammatory remarks that ruffled a lot of feathers and offended large swaths of the public. This reportedly triggered Warner Brothers executives, including CEO David Zaslav, to step in and take decisive action. Things didn't stop there. De Niro's financial demands only added fuel to the fire. Sources say he requested a whopping $60 million for the two films, plus higher residuals, all while the studio was already facing budget concerns. As tensions built, Warner Brothers made the call to sever ties, a move that quickly sparked a public frenzy. Refusing to go down without a fight, De Niro is now gearing up for a legal battle that could rival anything he's faced on screen. He's suing Warner Brothers and CEO David Zaslav, claiming they fired him for political reasons. In his lawsuit, De Niro accuses the studio of buckling under pressure from groups opposing his views and intentionally sabotaging his career by cutting him from the projects. He's demanding $40 million in damages, the same amount he was set to earn. Despite his claims, many legal experts and industry insiders think his case is shaky, suggesting it's more about saving face than securing a legal win. On the other hand, Warner Brothers is standing firm, insisting their decision was based on De Niro's controversial behavior and the professional risks it posed, not his political opinions. If the legal drama wasn't enough, De Niro is launching a full-blown PR campaign. He's lined up appearances on podcasts, radio shows, and talk shows, including The Howard Stern Show, to tell his side of the story. His mission? To cast himself as a victim of corporate censorship in an industry that he argues no longer tolerates differing opinions. Expect fiery speeches, pointed critiques, and emotional pleas as De Niro takes his fight into the public eye. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers is left dealing with the fallout. The two films De Niro was supposed to star in are now in serious jeopardy. One is facing massive budget cuts, and the other may be canceled entirely. Replacing an acting legend like De Niro is no easy task, and the studio is scrambling to save their investment. To add fuel to the fire, De Niro's former co-stars have been told by their agents and managers to steer clear of him, a classic Hollywood move when someone's reputation is in jeopardy. This isolation has only deepened De Niro's sense of betrayal and frustration. But De Niro's clash with Warner Brothers isn't just a personal spat. It's a reflection of the bigger issues shaking up Hollywood right now. The entertainment industry is in the midst of a massive upheaval, with streaming services upending traditional business models, public opinion gaining more power than ever, and studios walking a tightrope of potential controversy. Even A-listers like De Niro aren't immune to the fallout from their actions. For Warner Brothers, cutting ties with De Niro may have been a strategic move to protect against professional risks, but this decision also exposes the tricky balancing act studios face when trying to manage creative freedom, public perception, and financial pressures. Even competitors like Disney are feeling the heat, showing just how high the stakes are in the battle for dominance in the entertainment world. As for De Niro, his place in Hollywood is now up in the air. The legal showdown with Warner Brothers could drag on for months, possibly even years, and the damage to his public image may take even longer to repair. But if there's one thing De Niro is known for, it's his resilience. Whether he's playing a mob boss or taking on a billion-dollar studio, he's never been one to back down from a fight. One thing's for sure, this saga is far from over. The next chapter promises to be just as dramatic, messy, and captivating as the ones before it.